Open source software is code that everyone can read, modify and enhance and share, not just the original authors. The term relates to software that's built on a principle of openness, collaboration, rapid enhancement and community-led development, often with a meritocracy driving the decisions. Now, while there are exceptions, the complexity of applications today means that almost none are written entirely from scratch. They always use other existing code, libraries, components, whether it's a framework, a JSON serializer, or almost any common functionality. Otherwise, the applications would just take far too long to write and wouldn't be cost effective. Open source software is now a common source for that existing code, but as wonderful as it is to have this code available for reuse, when you incorporate other people's code within your code, there are potential issues that can arise. Let's take a look at a few. The first and most obvious issue is security. The MITRE Corporation operates a national cybersecurity group that provides a way to find publicly known information security vulnerabilities and exposures via their Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures, or CVE, system. If a new CVE is released and it affects a component that you are using in your software, it's critical that you know about it or know about any of the patches and versions that will remediate the problem. Attackers who are aware of open source vulnerabilities are very problematic, as they know the vulnerable code will have been used in a large number of sites, and then have a large number of potential targets. The second issue is quality. Rather than just security vulnerabilities, the code or components that you're using might just have functionality issues. They might not work as expected, and bugs that are in the code or components can then lead to bugs or stability issues in your application. If a new bug is found in code that you've used, again, you need to know about it and know if there's a patched version or later version that you can use instead. The third issue is less obvious, but it's the use of old versions. While your software comprises layers of other code, it's critical that you keep a set of software versions that work together. Patching one component might well mean that you need to patch another one. One final issue that's perhaps less obvious is licensing. When you incorporate open source or components into your own application, you're invariably agreeing to legal contracts, even if you're doing so implicitly. These license terms might not be compatible with your application development. So what can we do about this? The answer is to implement automated systems to manage it. The starting point is tooling that provides you with an inventory of the code and components that you're already using. Then you need security alerts that alert you to vulnerable components and versions, particularly if a new CVE is released. The tooling should also provide details of known bugs and versions that can be used to fix those bugs, and it should alert you when you're using inappropriate versions of code. If you integrate this type of tooling into your continuous integration pipeline, you get the benefits of what's called shifting left. This refers to your ability to detect issues as early as possible in your build and to fix them before wasting time further down the pipeline. Many tools also allow you to create policies to prevent developers from adding inappropriate code or components in the first place.